Tom O'Rourke has been a Mount Pleasant Town Council member for almost a year now. In this edition of Quintin's Close-Ups, I sit down with Tom one-on-one. And be sure to download the free Quintin's Close-Ups app in your Apple or Google Play stores. And listen to this interview later on iHeartRadio. Tom O'Rourke, it's so good to see you again.
It's good to be back, Quintin.
Oh, I appreciate it greatly.
Good to be back.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much.
Sure.
You know, I want to take it back to last night because I know that the Medal of Honor Foundation president meets the Mount Pleasant Town Council.
Yes.
And I know you guys really had some choice words for him.
Well, I don't know if it was choice words. The difficult part about the whole thing is Joe Daniels, who was the gentleman who was there, who's a great guy. I think he's been here through, I'm not exactly sure, but maybe 4 months of a 9-year discussion.
Right.
So I think that's why there might have been a little bit of hostility, because there are 9 members of council that really want the Medal of Honor Museum to be built at Patriots Point in Mount Pleasant.
As a matter of fact, you said this last night at the meeting, quote, 10 years that we're doing this, but all of a sudden 2 months, all the votes switch, and now you're gone. And I don't think you're ever going to come back, quite frankly.
Yeah, I believe that. I believe that.
What went wrong in 10 years in your mind?
Well, I don't know. And I have been on council for 1 year, less than 1 year. And I met with the people prior to Mr. Daniels' position, the person in his position there. And I remember those meetings and how much they wanted to try to convince us, let's do this, let's do this, let's do this. So and I know that with the commitment the town has given, the commitment that the state has given, and the contract that was put in place with the Patriots Point Development Authority, there has been strong commitments by Patriots Point, by the town, and like I said, the last executive director I met was begging me to get it done. Then all of a sudden, they're leaving. 5 months. And it's like, and I don't even think it was 5 months, but there was a decision now to just look for other places. And I guess we were told that, if we want, we can apply, if we can put in a submittal, which.
How long would that take?
I don't know how long it would take. I don't know what their plans are. But the one thing that I feel very good about is the 9 members that served the citizens of Mount Pleasant did every single thing that they could do to try to keep this thing in the town. And that's all we can do. Quite frankly, it's not our project. It's the Patriots Point Development Authority's project. It's a state project, and it's a partnership in which an agreement was signed that we're not a part of that agreement.
Right.
So we're sort of just like the support. The part that's interesting sometimes is in the media, people don't fully understand all of it. And I've gotten so many emails saying, support the Medal of Honor, support the Medal of Honor. And it's like, it's never been brought to us. And there's a perception that it was brought to us once when the height was really hot. No, it wasn't. They pulled that application from us. So it was never brought to us then. The new plan was never brought to us. Though there isn't anyone that can say that anybody on this existing council and the mayor were not in support of this plan.
You talk about the mayor, he also said this too. The single biggest problem with the decision, as you mentioned, is that there's a contract keeping them at Patriots Point. He said this quote, well, the biggest problem is there's a contract that has been honored by all the other parties to that contract. The town is not a party to that, but binds them here to 2023. And the town and the state of South Carolina have stood by them during a lot of inner turmoil, a lot of up and downs, and a lot of changes in leadership. So if they're bound by contract to really be at Patriots Point, why are they looking for potentially alternative locations?
Yeah, you're asking the wrong guy.
Oh, I know. I'm sorry.
But I think it's a fair question.
Okay.
Because there is a contract in place until 2023 that states that the body that has apparently made a decision to look for other sites, that the site was already chosen until 2023. Now, I guess in 2024, somebody can come in and say, we're not going to do it. But Patriots Point, the people of Patriots Point Development Authority are pretty smart. So there are there are milestones within that contract that has the group meeting financial obligations so that Patriots Point Development Authority isn't left with any financial commitments that they may have to clean up. So there are things along the way between now and 2023 that may or may not end it. But right now, there's a contract in place. And you know, the interesting thing about that, you know, I think we've spent a lot of time talking about what the building looked like, which I think is ridiculous. If somebody walks out of that building after a tour of the Medal of Honor Museum and they're talking about what the building looks like, then we've got a problem. It's about honoring these people. It's about honoring these heroes. And you're talking about Medal of Honor candidates. I mean, when they walk in the room, you just stand up. And now, I find it really hard to believe these people with this type of honor would break a contract. I don't see that happening. So, and one of the things I mentioned at the meeting last night is, you know, one of the things about Mount Pleasant Town Council is everything we do in front of the public. So everything we say, people get to hear, they get to disagree, they get to scrutinize. But the meetings that have gone on, whether in person or on the phone, we're getting the Medal of Honor Foundation to the decision to look for another location. I don't know anything about those. I don't know, you know, they don't have to tell us what those are. They're an independent body and made an independent decision, and that's the decision that they made. But I'm just so curious. Like I asked last night, I was so puzzled, like, what happened? What happened? You got 10 years of working on this thing. And then all of a sudden, boom, we're leaving. So it's very difficult, speaking for myself. And I said something at the meeting last night, you know, I'm accused of having really good intuition. Like I can see 30 years really clear down the road. And I had the opportunity to meet with Mr. Daniels, good guy. And during my begging, you know, and trying to say, I think we can get it worked out. You know, I'll be your champion. Tell me what you need. Okay. We had a great conversation, as well as other council members that had met with Mr. Daniel. And I told him last night, I told a couple other council members, I said, we're going to get a call on Friday, and they're going to stay in Mount Pleasant. I thought that was going to be the decision. And when I read his email, it was like, wow, I missed that one. I just missed it. Because I'm hearing, you know, they want to go to a place with, you know, good tourism numbers. I think Charleston was just voted the #1 tourist destination in the world. Right. You know, it's, so I don't get it. And the mayor and town council are upset, but actually, like I said, it's not us. It's Patriots Point Development Authority, and they know what they're doing. These people know what they're doing. And the foundation that is going to do this. And I think that's where the discussions really need to be held.
And let me get to the other side, which
Yes.
what you just talked about, Joe Daniels.
Yeah.
He said this, quote, "I know it happened fast. All I can say is I had zero intention. The organization had zero intention of coming in and taking the project away because we still think that this is such a special place. It does come down to the numbers. And the board felt, again, with the new board members, that we need to at least look at the other potential opportunities." What do those numbers tell you?
Yeah, I don't know what numbers they're looking at, quite frankly. We did economic development numbers, we did tourist numbers, we did all of that. And there certainly are cities with larger populations. But we feel like Charleston can hold itself up against any city in the whole world as it comes to tourism and tourism numbers. And you have Patriots Point. The whole entire area is themed around honor and patriotism. And, you know, maybe there's other places in the country that have these type of things, but I haven't seen them. I've been to a lot of places. And I know I'm biased. I'm very biased. I think this is a place I think that can be done. And but right now, we are forced to wait. Or, well, I don't even know if we're forced to wait, because I think the next discussion will be Patriots Point and the foundation about the contract that they have.
Okay.
I think that's gonna be the next conversation. And that's a conversation that the town is not involved in. Just like the mayor said, it's not us. We're not a party to that contract at all.
And I know that obviously you've been on the town council for nearing a year, I believe.
Almost a year. Seems like 30
Yeah,
years.
yeah.
Yeah, it does.
How would you describe Tom O'Rourke as a town council member these days?
You know, I don't think I'm good at it. I don't think I'm good at it. I'm not as prepared, I think, sometimes as some of the other members.
Okay.
And sometimes my decisions, you know, you have people that are very, very technical and very detailed.
Right.
That's not me. And like I was talking about intuition and vision, I can see down the road.
Sure.
I can see the big picture. And I think that's the other thing that bothers me too in my 1 year. And I'll be okay. I'll get through 3 more. But the culture of politics is horrible. It's horrible. It is so negative. And people will say anything with no information whatsoever. And Facebook is the devil. And, you know, Twitter and Instagram has caused more problems than it's helped. And it's funny, I was sitting out there before you came in, and I was writing something on my Facebook page, and I wrote on there, this is the second post since I've been elected on any matter that was political. So I have to admit, I read a lot of it, but I don't participate in it. But the culture of politics is horrible. And the other reason I say I'm not good at it is I thought I could change that. I really did think I could walk in there and get 9 people to see one vision. And I haven't been able to do that yet. The good news is we all, when we disagree, after the vote, we're all together. We go to the next thing. And nobody's carrying over the old stuff. I like that a lot. My votes often are not in line with a lot of people on there that I consider friends. I consider friends, and I think they'll be friends forever. And I'm fortunate to have met them. So I do like that part of it, but it's hard. I think it wears on. It gets to you after. For me, it does. It's just, I like being in an arena with positivity. Politics is an arena that's almost all negative. And I don't do well there.
And when you strip away politics, what is it in the town of Mount Pleasant that you're focused on right now that you want to take care of for your constituents?
Yeah, you know, it's interesting. The government wheels move slow, and that's for a good reason. So I think we should be looking at the big things that matter. You know what? When I make decisions, traffic. Last night I was on, there were 2 issues that I had to make a decision on. And not everybody voted the way I voted. But I didn't make any speech about it, but it was about a rezoning. And there were going to be this many traffic counts if we kept the zoning the same, or there were going to be a significant amount of less traffic counts if we did it. So, but for me to make a decision, I have to know what are my guiding principles. So I think one of the biggest things is traffic. I'm going to make decisions based on traffic because it's bad and it's getting worse. And the other thing that I think is a very, very big issue in the town is financial sustainability. One of the things that the mayor and council has agreed to do, which I think is really good, is we're going to do a 5-year budget now. And Marcy, our CFO, is brilliant, and she can lead us through this. But what I would like to see is us look at that 5th year and say, oh my goodness, the revenues are only this and our expenses are this. So that we have to say today, where are we going to get the money? And nobody wants to raise taxes. And that should never be your first option. But we should be saying right now, you know, what revenue sources are out there for us to go after so that we can add $15, $20 more million a year to that budget to take care of these things. And I believe that we can do it without raising taxes. I really do. And so we just have to understand that we're going to need more money in the future. And I'm always the opposite. I worked at Charleston County Parks, and we generate about $36 million a year in fees. So when we wanted something, or we looked like the budget was hurting, we never cut. We went and opened another water park, or added a couple more events. So we were proactive in the things that would bring in more money, so we didn't have to cut the services that everybody wanted. And it sounds good in a conservative society to say, we're cutting this, there's too much fat, blah, 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 blah. Maybe not. Maybe we're doing what the public wants us to do. We've just got to figure out how we're going to pay for it. So to me, it's, where are you getting the money? How can you deal with the traffic? And then there's some quality of life things that I feel really strongly about, like trails, bicycle, pedestrian access, which will help traffic.
Okay.
And those type of things. And I think that, look, I don't think when you run for council that you want it all fixed in 4 years. There's no fix. There's no finish line in our work. You create the plans that live 30 years from now. And if we can do planning while I'm on here for my next 3 years, and then we have people, citizens, I don't mean elected people, citizens that buy in and see the value of those plans, they'll live. They'll live forever. But, so I think we can probably do that.
Tom O'Rourke, thank you so much for your time. I really,
Thank
really
you.
appreciate this.
Yes, thank you.
You're welcome,
Thank
man.
you.
Anytime.
Thank you very much.
Anytime.